Howdy, howdy, everybody. It's me again, Passion Theory, and this time I figured I would just kind of do either the best stuff that sold, like what sold for the most this month or the last month, or things I thought were interesting, or things that were in past haul videos, things like that. So I picked and chose this month because my what sold videos were just getting too long, and um, putting one out a week was not really working out for me that much, so I figured if I do it monthly, like a kind of like at the end of the month type of a thing, it would be I could pick and choose like the funnest things or things we've seen before in videos, and then we just have like one a month because they don't do the best right now. Maybe in the future, if they get more views and stuff, I will start going back to once a week. But and it is something I really like to do though, because it does help educate you. If you are a reseller, it helps you see what's out there and what you should be looking for, maybe possibly for your own. So I do like to do them, and since it's my passion, whether or not it gets views, I'm going to put them up there. It's just whether or not I do one a week versus one a month type of a thing. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the reason I chose this is because one, I think it's really cute and fun. This is a coin bank made from leather. It was made in India. It has all this information on an inside tag. Um, and it's really, really well made, really pretty. And the reason I chose to choose it also is because this item was not perfect. I didn't notice it at the time. I paid $4 for it and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get like $25 for this. I've seen these banks before and they're usually elephants or things like that. I've never seen a cat before and I know how popular cats are. And so I was like, oh yeah, I can make like, $30 to $40 possibly. I don't even know. So when I got it home, I was looking it over for doing pictures and I noticed there was a big old pin mark all down the side of it. And on its face, there was like a where something had pressed into the leather and messed up the face a little bit. So I was like, oh no, but I still didn't see any other cats. So I put it up for $20 and it sold for $20. So you don't have to pick up things that are pristine. I have sold things with chips, dents, everything. It's just how unique is the item, how rare is it, things like that. Um, Sometimes if it's a super rare item and it has a flaw, I'll put it up on auction instead and then kind of have like a baseline. And then if people want to pay for it, they can fight other people for it, but they know it has that flaw. And always take really good pictures of the flaws. If I can, I put that it has flaws in the actual title. So like I might on this one I put like leather cat bank made in India pin markings, and stuff like that. Like flaw pin mark. So can't say they didn't see the flaw in your title, if it's in the title. And there's so many people who don't read descriptions. But usually, if you have discussed in your description very clearly the flaws and taken good pictures of the flaws, I know if you sell on like eBay or Etsy, they will stand behind you and be like, you knew that these flaws were in there if you read the thing at all. So anyway, this cat bank I paid $4 for. The shipping and fees were about $5. The shipping was split with something else because this person actually bought two items from me at the same time. And it sold for $20, so the profit was about $11. Okay, so what these are from a video game called Disney Infinity, and they're Disney Infinity discs. And each disc either unlocks a character for you to play, or unlocks like a background, or an attack, or ability, or something of that nature. Some of the discs are more rare than others. And I had to do some research on that because what happened was we were at the Salvation Army and a while back, and we found a big case that held all these. I'd say it was probably about, I don't know, like 8 inches long, and it had space for like 20 of these discs. And it was completely full, and they sold it for about $4. And I was able to sell most of the discs either in pairs or singly. And I was able to sell the case itself for $10. And then this is what I had left. I had these lotted up as pairs, like I have like 2 Anna ones, 2 Wreck-It Ralph ones, things like that. I had them all lotted up. These just never sold, and they were up for the year. And once things are up for a year, what I do is I like look to see if I have a lot of the same items left over, things like that. So what I did is I just took all the ones I had left over and sold them together. At this point, as long as I make a profit on them, I don't care because I have since way more than made my money back. Like I said, I sold the case itself for $10 and this only cost me $4. And then most of the pair lots sold for around $12 each, and these are tiny. There's like barely any cost for shipping. And so at this point, I'm just trying to get it out and make some kind of money on it once it gets to the point that it's been up so long. So this particular lot didn't do that well, but then again, these are like the least desirable ones, and like I said, I had already made my money back on them, so I was willing to take an offer on them. So I paid about, I'd say 50 cents, maybe tops, is what got put into this lot altogether. If I split all of the lots I sold up into a price margin out of the $4, the shippings and fees was $4. It sold for $7, so I made a profit of $3.50. Like I said, I more than made my money back a long time ago. This is more just to show you that there are some really small items out there that you can, like I said, I sold some single discs of these for $12, and I had very little going into it. So look for things that are small and in bulk and that are selling. And once you do that, because it's really easy to do all of these listings because they're all the same, pretty much. You just change the picture and the title, and that's pretty much it. And so it lists for quickly, it sells for a decent profit, and it has no very low shipping. So this month I ended up selling 8 witchy boxes. The cost, shipping, fees, all that kind of just depends. Sometimes it goes in a flat rate padded mailing envelope. Sometimes it goes, if it's, ends up being under £1, it goes first class and then goes for way cheaper. On average, my boxes make me about, I'd say, $12 profit, and they can be as little as 5. It can be as much as, like 18. It just goes back and forth. And yeah, I do them really because I really, really like doing them. It's a lot of fun. I know I'm saving stuff, getting stuff out of keeping stuff out of the trash, and it's not about making a huge profit with them. It's more about, it's a passion. It's fun. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Instead of just going over every single witchy box I sold, I just decided to say how many I happened to sell this month. So this little folk art carved wooden cat ornament was actually in one of my haul videos, and so I will link that down below. There's a couple things, in fact, that I sold this month that were from previous videos I've done, and that's because it took me, they would have sold closer to time, but usually I do a haul video and then it takes me about 2 weeks to 3 weeks to actually put the items up, just because I have a big backlog of stuff to list. A huge backlog, and that's because, my family gives me stuff when they're going through their house, getting rid of things, instead of just giving it to Goodwill or something. They have me look through it. I grab anything that I think will make a profit and cost an arm and a leg to ship, because paying 0 is better than paying anything for an item. So This little cat ornament I paid $1 for. The shipping and fees were very low, just $2, and that's because it was actually bought with that cat bank I showed previously, and so I was able to ship them out together. So really, it's just the fees and then the bubble wrap I wrapped it in, and that kind of thing. And it probably added about $1 onto the shipping price. And then it sold for $20, so the profit on this guy was about $17. And here is another item that sold from one of my hauls. Anytime I have something that sells from a haul video, I am going to be sure to put it in this monthly what sold, just so you can, see how it did. So this little clay clam guy with the silly tongue and eyes, I paid $2 for him. The shipping and fees on him was about $4. He sold for $20, and I made a profit of $14 on him. And the funny thing with him was, I have a system where when I put something away, I write down what bin it is. All my bins are labeled. So it was like supposed to be in bin, like 1A. And I looked there and it wasn't there. So I had to actually message the person and be like, hey, I'm still looking for this guy. So do you want me to refund you and let you know if I find him? Or do you want me to just keep looking? And they were like, just look for him. I can wait. It's not a big deal. I ended up finding him the very next day, but it was like, I don't have a very long shipping window. So I have to know where my items are. And he was just hanging out in my to be listed bin instead of already listed and put away bin. I must have just wrote, yeah, I'm putting them in 1A, and then I didn't. And so, you just got to stay organized and really stay on top of that stuff, or you can get really confused, and then, it's bad for your customers and things. Luckily, my customer was very understanding and everything. I've been doing this a long time. I've only ever lost one item permanently, and that was because of a move. But yeah, just really recommended, really well organized system. These guys were also in my haul video. I paid $1 each for them. The shipping and fees was about $5. They sold for $35, so I made a profit of $28. They actually sold within 10 minutes of me listing them, so I wondered if maybe I shouldn't have put them up for more. But yeah, these sold before I could list the one that was by itself. And I was going to list the one by itself for like $15, but because these sold like instantly, I put it up for $25, and then that one sold, and that I'll talk about that one next. But yeah, these all went to the same people, so the same person, so I was able to save on shipping and fees too. Like, that person just keeps an eye on for these things. So this is the little merbaby that's all by itself. I paid $1 for them. The shipping and fees on this was about $4, and that's because I had to add a lot of bubble wrap. They wanted these all in one box since they bought all 3 of the merbabies. They wanted them, all shipped together, which is fine. I would have done that anyway. So I used like a lot of bubble wrap. Which made the price go up a little bit, but that's fine since I shipped them all out together. This one sold for $25 all by itself. I made a profit of $20, or at least those are the profits I would have made. However, the USPS smashed the box and smashed all the merbabies. Now, I think I did a great job in packing them. I send out a lot of breakables. I send out a lot of items. These were individually wrapped in bubble wrap, several layers, and then they were also put in a sturdy box with no wiggle room or anything. Now, when the person got them, they were upset that this stuff was broken, and that I understand. Okay? I refund them. You just kind of have to deal with that sometimes. I can talk to USPS about it, and usually, if things are, there's a certain amount of insurance that like different levels of packaging get, and so it's a big rigmarole though, and I work into my business like the time it would take me to get some money back from USPS is not worth my time dollar wise. So I just usually let it go unless it's an item like combined that's worth, $100 or more. But they have to show me proof. The person has to show me proof that they're actually broken, and, you know, these were one of a kind type items, so it's not like they could have been trying to replace something they already had. The colors they were and stuff, these were hobbyist pieces. These are things that, there's no exact replica of. So I know it really was these items that got broken. Um, so I just refunded them. Not a big deal. My only problem is that the person who bought these said that they got broken because I didn't wrap them properly. Now, I am a big advocate for making sure you over protect items. Sometimes that makes the shipping cost a little higher, things like that. I go out of my way to do that. And maybe I could have added, 4 more layers of bubble wrap or a even bigger box and even more bubble wrap. But I sent them in a way that I've sent other items and there hasn't been a problem. Um, and so sometimes, like, you can't take that stuff personally when the customer says, hey, these broke because you didn't wrap it good enough. You have to decide, did I really not wrap it good enough? And if you didn't, then you need to think about how you wrap things going forward. If you have had experience and you think, I did wrap that good enough, this was just extreme rough handling. And I mean, this had been really extreme rough handling because when I send my items out, I make sure I'm confident that I could throw this item like down my stairs and it would not break, okay? So usually the person is just mad. They're just mad. And the easiest person to blame is the person who sent you the item. And you know what? That's fine. They're upset. They want their money back. They're usually heartbroken because maybe like these were one of a kind items. She's a collector. So she really is really upset that these beautiful things got broken. And it's easier to blame you because she can communicate with you. She can't, like, not a lot of people know their postman, or it might have not been their regular postman that dropped it off. And it's usually not the post person that did it. It's usually like in the behind the scenes, when it's the packages traveling from one truck to the next. Maybe they threw it in there. Maybe they put a bunch of heavy boxes on it. I've had things where there were tire marks on the box, like they had run it over at some point. You just gotta breathe. You gotta work losses into your business, and you just gotta let it go. And no matter what, whether it's your fault or not, as a business owner, it's one of those things where you have to just say, I am so sorry, you know, I will refund you. I'm so sorry these got broken, that kind of thing. You just gotta do it. So I included this little lot of magazines here for a couple reasons. One, just to let you know, hey, you can sell vintage magazines. And even though people might be able to get those same magazines, like a disc of all of, they sell CDs of like all the past magazines and things like that. Sometimes people want a physical copy. A lot of the times, like Mad Magazine and stuff like that will also sell like a remade version. So it looks brand new and everything, but they want the actual vintage one. Sometimes they just don't want to pay a lot for them, um, but they want to complete their collection. And one thing is, sometimes the people who collect these old magazines drive me insane. Okay, how I work my business model is that I do free shipping right now for the most part. I roll it in. Oop, pause. So I basically know what the cost of shipping is going to be, and I roll that into my price, and then there is a bottom line price I will take. So I got messaged about this item, this lot, and they were being extremely picky, like asking me 1,000 questions, wanting more pictures, and I'm like, it's a lot of 2 vintage magazines for $12 with free shipping. Like, dude, these are not the best quality. I already said there's a rip in the top corner. You know, there's some yellowing from age. I have all the pictures of everything. And they wanted pictures of each corner of each magazine. And then they were like, well, you need to ship it to me between 2 pieces of cardboard and in a box. And I'm like, well, then I can't do free shipping because I typically would just put these 2 guys in a like in a padded mailer because they're magazines. They can get kind of like, like if someone picks up the padded mailer and bends it a little bit and stuff, they're not going to really get damaged beyond like, I had these up for, they're in okay condition, they're readable. I did not say they were collector's edition. I did not say they were mint. Nothing like that. And then they said, well, I only want one of the magazines. So, because I said, if you want them, between cardboard, bubble wrapped, and in a box, I can do that. But the price is going to be $18 because it's going to up the shipping materials I have to use, and it's also going to up the weight. And so they said, well, I only want one of the magazines. I don't want both. So if you give me just that one magazine, how about I pay you $10 for the one magazine? And I'm just sitting here like, no. Even if it's just one magazine, the extra shipping things you want me to do is going to cost me the same. Because one magazine or not, the magazines themselves only weigh about 4 to 6 ounces. And so I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem is the extra shipping materials. Like I have to take my time to make a custom box, right? And the weight is going to be about the same. So it would still be $18. And while I was in the middle of talks with them, I was just sitting there telling my husband, I was like, I don't I don't want to sell to them anymore because I know I'm going to ship it to them and they're going to find some tiny problem that either I didn't see or didn't mention because I didn't go through every page of these because again, I'm selling them as a readable old vintage magazine that are in okay condition. And I could just tell, it's like a type A type personality. They were going to not like it no matter what. Luckily, while they were busy going back and forth with me, someone came in and just bought the lot of both for the $12. No problems. Got feedback from them. They said that the magazines were better than I described. Great sale, all that stuff. And I'm just so glad they did because I did not want to have to deal with that person anymore. So, if you are buying something from a website like eBay or Etsy or something, and the person has free shipping and it's an older item and it's cheap, maybe don't get upset when they say if you want it shipped a certain special way that it's going to cost more because they're just trying to, get it sold the way I sent it. The magazines arrived fine, but my goodness, I am glad someone else bought this. And I was thinking it was going to happen just because I had priced this kind of on the low end because both these magazines typically sell for about $10 each, but I just wanted them gone. I didn't pay anything for them. They're just part of my husband's old collection. He didn't want them anymore. I had actually sold all of his other Mad magazines, and I had sold something like 100 of them altogether. And then we just happened to find these 2 that were kicking around from when we moved. And I was like, "Ah," and if they hadn't sold within a few months, I was just gonna donate them at the end of the year. But yeah, so I paid 0 for them. The shipping and fees was about $4. They sold for 12, so I made a profit of 8. All right, everybody, that's it for this month. I'll see you next month, and you guys all have an amazing day.